So if I may turn to our audience, the first question is from Jitendra Khanna, who is an ex-WHO employee. And the question is, physicists have concluded, as of now, that the universe is deterministic. So, is there free will for humans, or is free will an illusion?
See, right now, all of you sitting here, whether you sit here in a pleasant manner next to the person who is sitting next to you, or you abuse them, or you stab them, or you throttle them, is it by your will or is it by some universal law? I'm asking. Hello? Is it by your free will or no? Whether you look at them wonderfully or you look at them nasty, is it by free will or is it because of something else? The way the planets are spinning. Lot of people thought so forever, because people think they are the way they are because of the way the stars are moving right now. Unfortunately, a whole lot of stars they're looking at don't even exist, they're gone long time ago. But they're determining your future and your life. So, I see many Indian origin faces. In India, we have something called as karma. Today it's become an English word. In the Oxford English Dictionary, it is an English word. So I can use this word. Karma means action. Action means this. When you sit here, your body is doing its own things, it's acting, that's why we are alive. Mind is doing its own things, our emotions are doing its own things, our life energies are doing their own things. Every moment of your life, in wakefulness and sleep, these four dimensions of activity or karma are happening, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
From the time you woke up today morning to now, whatever number of hours, if you are a 12 o'clock person, it is just 6 hours. If you're a 6 o'clock person, it is 12 hours. In this 12 or 6 hours that you've been awake, how much of your physical, mental, emotional and energy activity has been a conscious process? Hello? How much do you think? Believe me, it's well below 1%. So when 99% of your activity is unconscious, obviously you think something is hitting you from elsewhere. If you make 10% of what's happening in body, mind, energy conscious, suddenly people around you think you're a superhuman being. Yes, people think you're superhuman, you're determining everything. If 100% it is determined by you, they'll start worshipping you godlike, because all that happened is you became more conscious. And the significance of being human is that we can be conscious. See, if you look at the nature and activity of your life, you're not very different from other creatures on this planet. They are born, you're born, they eat, you grow up, they grow up, you sleep, they sleep, you reproduce, they reproduce, you die, they die. It's just that they do it more gracefully, you do it with lot of fuss. So, your activity and the life that you do is not very different from other creatures. Only thing is, we can do the same things consciously. That's all the big thing about us, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
That is all the big thing about us. We can eat, sleep, reproduce and even die consciously. This is the big dimension of being human. So if you do not exercise this one thing, it is an evolutionary problem. You're going backwards in evolution. The life is striving to go forward. This is not your or my intention. Life is naturally striving to move forward. When you were a monkey, I'm sorry, this is not my statement. Charles, that Englishman, you know.
Yes.
Charles Darwin said this, When you were a monkey, you did not desire to become a human being. But the life within you is longing to move on to the next possibility. Out of that, we are a consequence. Hello? So the consequence is not of physical super capabilities as Hollywood movies are trying to show. Essentially, the consequence is we are more conscious. Because physically, if you become, let's say, far more capable than a chimpanzee or far more capable than a cheetah or a panther or something, you would just be a super animal. You became human only because you became more conscious than other creatures. If you do not exercise that consciously all the time, you will fall back in no time.
Thank you. So now we have a question from Nilufar Bawa, former employee of the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. What is the future of our planet? We are running out of water. The glaciers are melting. What happens when we run out of water? Will mankind and life go extinct on Earth?
We are not running out of water. Million years ago, how much water was there on this planet? Still the same amount of water is here. Only if some men go off to Mars, they will take some water and go.
Yes.
Otherwise, the same amount of water is here, it's not gone anywhere. It's not where you want it. That is something that you need to look at. Why is it? Why is water going away from human habitations? Why is it lodging itself somewhere else? Obviously, we are not living the way we should live. Very simple. Hello? We always went in pursuit of water. Where there was a river, civilizations developed. But now water is trying to move away from us. We must be doing something fundamentally wrong. Hello? Isn't it? We are doing something very fundamentally wrong in the way we are organizing human habitations. We need to look at this seriously now, very important. Otherwise, you have to go and live under the ocean, because that's the only place there will be water.
Thank you. So I stay on water, and this one comes from Sasang Pai, a cognizant. I came to know the Isha Foundation through Rally for Rivers. Please could you enlighten us on the possibility in progress and how we can contribute?
Oh. I think they showed something on the video about Rally for Rivers. We made a 760-page policy recommendation as to how Indian rivers should be managed, because on an average, all Indian rivers on an average have depleted about 40% in the last 70 years. Some rivers have receded over 60 to 70%, major rivers. We must understand this, the European rivers are of a different nature and Indian rivers are of a completely different nature. Here largely the precipitation comes in the form of rain and also snow. And glacial water is probably the main source. I believe about 55 to 60% of European rivers are coming from glacial waters. In India, only 4% of river water is glacial, rest of it is forest-fed. River is not the source of water in a tropical land. River is a destination into which the water comes. The only source of water we have is monsoon. And this monsoon pours down in 45 to 50 days in a year. What comes down in 50 days? All in the form of water, not in the form of snow. Because snow will pile up and stay for 2 months and slowly melt and trickle into the land. That is not how monsoons come. Monsoons come like a torrent of water, all liquid. So how do we hold it? We were holding it because there was substantial vegetation everywhere. So vegetation and the richness of the soil held it and slowly let it go in the form of streams and rivulets which all joined together and became a river. But we have removed green cover in such a way, if you have flown over India, if you fly from Delhi to Chennai or Bangalore, if every 5 minutes you look down, it looks like one brown desert, except for the Western Ghats and a few patches here and there, rest is all farmed totally. Because there is no vegetation and there is no richness in the soil, we are not able to hold the water. When the rains come, there is flood, otherwise there is drought. At the same time, at the upper regions of the river, there is flood, the lower regions of the river, there is drought at the same time, at a given time. This phenomena is happening mainly because of removal of vegetation. To what extent? Means you must understand this. For example, Ganga Basin, where it accounts for 25% of India's geography, 33% of India's agriculture, we have removed 92% of green cover in the last 60 years. What's the plan? So Rally for Rivers mainly is pushing towards putting back at least 1/3 of the green cover back on the Indian subcontinent. So right now, as a sample of that, we are doing one short river which is 54 kilometers, which unfortunately became notorious as the suicide capital of India, which is called as Yavatmal in Maharashtra, where maximum number of suicides happen. Almost every third family we meet has had a suicide in their families. So we have taken this up hands-on project, where recently the cabinet approvals have happened and we are working on the ground. Our volunteers are meeting every family, 9,600 families in the Yavatmal region are being contacted and given a cell phone number. In case of any distress, they can get back to us. The fundamental is to change them from regular farming where there is no scale. They're just scratching land which is 2 acres, 3 acres per family. They cannot invest enough in a 2-acre land. If they invest, they become debt-ridden and drives them towards suicide. So we are seeing how to make them an integrated way of approach and also towards agroforestry, which will revive the river. A larger project that's coming up, which all of you can participate in whatever way you can, because we need a big push for this, is called Kaveri Calling. Kaveri is a river which flows mainly between two southern states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. These two states have been at war with each other as to who should drink more Kaveri water. See, if there were 2 glasses of water for both of us, we will drink our water and be nice to each other. Suppose there's only 1 glass of water between the 2 of us, we're nice people but we'll fight. Yes or no?
Probably. But
Yes,
I'm sure you won't.
No, if there's no water, I will also fight. I'm saying people will fight, isn't it? Because of scarcity, people will fight. Even nice people will unnecessarily clash with each other. This is what has been happening. Here we have removed 87% of the green cover. Kaveri is very dear to me because I grew up around this river. Once I floated down this river for 13 days on just 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. I lived off the river. In my experience, I never saw this river and fantastic forest that was around as natural resource. I always experienced this as a life larger than myself. It's a much bigger life than you and me. And it has been there before you and me and it should be there after you and me. But right now we brought it to a place where it may not be there. What's been there for 1,000,000 years may not be there for the next generation. We're bringing it to that place. Right now the scientific studies show Kaveri has depleted 46%, but I don't agree with this because they are taking the monsoon flow also as the volume of water. If you leave the monsoon flow, if you just go and see the river after October, in my eyes, it seems like it's 25 to 30% of what it was when I was a child around that place. So it's depleted so sharply, it's been troubling me. So now we are doing this. This is a rally of a different kind. The Rally for Rivers was purely an awareness because river is a concurrent subject in India between the central government and the state government. We wanted to bring that concurrence, which we managed for the first time. The 16 states at that time were ruled by 6 different political parties. For the first time, they came together on one cause. Otherwise, opposition parties have always been, whatever one says, the other will say just the reverse of it. This is how it's been. But they came together and spoke in one voice, which itself was a tremendous thing. It showed the maturity that there is, in spite of the daily fighting that happens, when real issues come, They stood up for one cause that was fantastic. 162 million people supported this cause in 30 days' time. I personally drove 9,300 kilometers, 142 events. Literally, we were on the road 30 days non-stop driving and talking ourselves hoarse. But this did the job. Now, the Rally for Rivers recommendation became the official recommendation for the 29 states, that the government sent this as an official recommendation. 3 to 4 states are very proactive, they're going and doing their own thing, which is very good. Another 6 states we've signed MOUs, but now we need a large-scale demonstration. See, the important aspect of this is, we are shifting farmers from 3-month, 4-month crop pattern to agroforestry, which will multiply the farmer's income. Right now, we have transformed 69,760 farmers into agroforestry, and their incomes have multiplied 5 to 8 times in a matter of 10 years' time. So this multiplication of income will happen. Why I'm saying this is an economic plan with a significant ecological impact. That is what is important, because the moment you talk ecology, all the businesses become cautious because these guys are going to come and bash us. All ecologists or ecological activists always trying to hit some industry or some business. So this is what I want to change, and this is what we have successfully changed, is economy and ecology have to go hand in hand. If you pit one against the other, if you pit one against the other, economy will win hands down, ecology will be battered. So that is what has been happening, especially now in India, because we are looking for an economic surge. We are talking about becoming a $5 trillion economy. When we go like this, there is a possibility ecology could be trampled. So we are working with the governments because it's very, very important. This is something always, at least in India, the people who represent ecological concerns have never worked with the governments, always against the government. If you're serious about doing something, you have to work with the government. There's simply no other way. Well, there may be compromises because they have their own concerns, they have their own political and budgetary issues, and various other dimensions are there, not just some ideal that we hold. So this is a new trend that we have created, that ecological concerns are not of… People have always treated like this. Economy is today's concern, ecology is tomorrow's concern. I'm saying ecology and economy are today's concern, and they have to go hand in hand. So if you want to support in some way, Kaveri Calling will start in September. Just to tell you how it is being done, this time we are on a motorcycle. A group of us are riding down 1,500 kilometers, nearly 1,500 kilometers down the river, camping on the river, creating about 35 events along the way. We are asking for the governments to give an incentive for farmers to shift from regular farming, which destroys riverine terrain, into agroforestry. This is yet to happen. Both the governments are examining the budgetary proposals that we have given. Whether it comes through or not, if it comes through, we will go propagating the benefits the government is offering, the incentives. If it doesn't, we use it as a people's movement to push the government towards that policy. But this has to be done now. What I see is, if we don't do this in the next 12 to 15 years' time, I think particularly southern region, right now it is the most water-distressed region is Tamil Nadu, and it's also entering Karnataka in a big way. I think it's a clear manifestation, we don't care a damn about our children and their children, how they live here. It's a very clear statement as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to leave that statement.
Thank you. So this question takes us more explicitly to yoga. Yoga seems to be the current buzzword, from exercise as asanas to meditation for body and mind well-being. How exactly do you define yoga?
Oh, I thought we've done plenty of that. Yoga means union. Even the chant we did was just that. You do it somehow, okay? You do it with austerity, or you do it in a pleasurable way, you do it sitting alone in a mountain, or you do it being with everybody, somehow, how the hell you do it, it doesn't matter. Somehow, you should become like this, that if you sit here, your experience of being alive is fantastic. Nothing need to happen. If you sit here, you're alive and it's fantastic. Is it… let me tell you this. Right now, what is the most important thing in your life? Your bank balance, your business, your family, your relationships, what you're planning, or you're alive right now? Which is most important? Hello? You're alive right now, that is the most important thing, isn't it? So you do this much, I'll teach you a simple yoga right now. Tomorrow morning, if you do wake up, see, you think it's a joke. You're thinking it's a joke. No, mortality is not a joke. This is the problem with most people. Most people think other people die. No, you and me will die. Hello? You and me will die, isn't it? I'll bless you with a long life, but still you die with a blessing, isn't it? Mortality is a real thing. Every day, nearly 250,000 people don't wake up tomorrow morning, by natural process. So in case you wake up tomorrow morning, check if you're still alive. If you are, will you give yourself one big smile? You're still alive? Hello? Hello, will you do that? And every day if 250,000 people die, at least 5 to 10 million people would have lost someone who's dear to them. You check those 5–10 people who matter to you. If they're all alive, will you give yourself one more smile? Hello? To yourself, not to somebody. All of them are alive today, all the people who matter to you immediately. Will you give yourself one more smile? It is 7 o'clock and you're still alive. Please understand this, what is ticking away is not a clock, it's your life which is ticking away. Since you came and sat here, you're 2 hours closer to your grave. Hello? Yes or no? Mortality is a real thing. If you're conscious of it, then you will make the best out of this. You think you're eternal, then you live like a fool. You have time for all kinds of idiotic things. If you know life is ticking away, you will do the best things that you can do, isn't it? Hello? You will not do the best thing, you will do the best things that you can do, and this is all we can do. In your life, if you do not do what you cannot do, that's not the issue. But if you do not do what you can do, you're a disastrous life. So yoga means to avoid this disaster.
So, this question takes us to education, and it comes from Meenakshi Bana of the Bluebell School International in New Delhi. What can schools do to inculcate ethical living in a joyful way?
The moment you have lot of ethics, your face becomes long. Because it's like this. Let's say there is an ethic, thou shalt not kill for me. So I'm just holding my hands back, but I want to kill. But why do I want to kill? Why is it that I want to kill? We must look at it more fundamentally, isn't it? Rather than stopping it with a value that I set for my… no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. See, please understand this. Just try this right now. Shall we try an experiment with your mind? Next 30 seconds, nobody should think of a monkey. Try. Please close your eyes and try. Oh, only monkeys, isn't it? This is the nature of your mind. In your mind, if you say, I will not, only that will go on. Why are you making life so difficult? Why do you think you are born wrong and you have to be fixed? No. You think creation has made a mistake with you? Hello? You think creation has made a mistake with you? No. It's fine, the life the way it is fine. You become something because you imbibe all kinds of nonsense from other people. You call this religion, you call this education, you call this morals, you call this values, you call this philosophies, ideologies. For religions and ideologies and philosophies, we have killed more people than for crime, isn't it so? Hello?
Absolutely.
So, all these morals, ethics, values, philosophies, ideologies are only an effort to prevent crime. But in the end, these preventive measures have caused more death and horror on this planet than crime would cause, isn't it? So why do you think I would like to steal what is in your pocket? I don't care, first of all. Why are you telling me thou shalt not steal? I never thought of stealing anything from you. All this comes because you are in pursuit of happiness. That's the problem. Have you seen every one of you? When you're very joyful, what a wonderful human being you are. But if you're a little angry, frustrated, miserable, you're nasty. Yes or no? So this is what we need to create. We have been always trying to produce good human beings, which is a terrible mistake. We need more joyful and sensible human beings. This is what yoga is about. Joy is an insurance. Joy is an insurance. When you're joyful, you want to kill somebody? Hello? Only when you're miserable you want to kill somebody, isn't it?
Thank you. Now, I think if I'm reading, we're coming to a… May we have one last one, perhaps? Okay. There are many questions, but a last one from Hiranjani, Biz. Spirituality, and I think you've just been addressing this to some extent, spirituality and religion are often misunderstood at all levels. How could you explain the difference and the overlap in easy-to-understand terms?
Spirituality
and religion.
Religion, okay. See, if you say I'm religious, you naturally identify yourself as a believer, isn't it? Hello? That you believe something, whatever that is. What is belief? Let's look at this. Something that you do not know, you assume. And if 10 of us assume that, this is my religion. If larger numbers happen, it becomes a big religion. But essentially, belief means you are assuming something that you do not know, or fundamentally, you are not willing to admit, I do not know. But I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only if you see I do not know, the longing to know, the seeking to know and the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality. Everything I do not know, I believe. Now what is all the problem in this world? One man's belief versus another man's belief, religious or otherwise. Yes? If you saw that you do not know, would you have a reason to fight with anybody? So if you saw you do not know, what do? The nature of human intelligence is such, it cannot simply sit here with I do not know, it will seek. When you become a seeker, a spiritual, somebody who's on the spiritual path always refers to himself as a seeker. The qualification to become a seeker is you have realized that you do not know. Yes? You know that you do not know. Once you know that you do not know, seeking is not an option, it is the nature of the human intelligence. Once you really see, I do not know the nature of my existence, sitting, standing, sleeping, your intelligence will seek. You don't have to go and seek somewhere. Seeking does not mean you join a group. If you simply bring this home to you that I really do not know a thing about this life, I'm asking you, do you really know? Do you know where you come from and where you go? Hello? You don't know?
No.
You can bullshit yourself. I came from heaven, I'm going back to heaven. If you're so sure that you're going back to heaven, why don't you go today? I'm saying, those who are dead sure about it are doing such things, isn't it? Hello? If you knew that you are going to a better place than here, why don't you go? This is the greatest crime upon humanity, that we told people there is a better place than this. This is a crime, because this is not allowing human beings to live their life to their full depth and dimension, because they think the real life is elsewhere. Now, do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and making a mess out of it? Do you have any proof?
None.
If you understand, if you pay enough attention to life, if you see on the surface, this is a leaf, this is a flower, this is that, everything we know. But if you pay enough attention, you don't know a thing. You really don't know a thing, not even about your own existence, isn't it? When this really comes home to you that I do not know, you're a natural seeker, you don't have to join any group, you don't have to follow anybody. You're a natural seeker. In whichever way your intelligence can seek, it will start seeking. In every possible way it will seek, because this is the nature of human intelligence. Seeking is not a choice. You can stop seeking simply because you make up something and you believe it. If you don't believe or disbelieve anything, you simply pay attention to everything, you will become a seeker. Because it is only human attention which opens the doors of this universe. Without a penetrating attention, nothing will open for you. But once you believe, you don't have to pay attention to anything, because you know it, you know everything, how it happened and how it's going to end. It's already ended.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do too.